Hey everyone, it's Jared back again for XDA TV. So 1 year ago, I made a best 3 pro camera apps video, which we'll link to in the description below in case you're interested. That was focused towards the more serious mobile photographers. This time though, I'm going for a best all-around, full-featured but still user-friendly camera apps type video. That being said, we'll start from the most user-friendly and end with the most advanced. So up first is Footage, and actually it's from XDA member Stratosk. So props to him, but Footage probably isn't something I've replaced the stock camera app on any of my flagship phones. However, for those of you with devices that have, shall we call them, less than desirable stock camera apps, you'll love its simplicity along with some very useful advanced features. From the viewfinder at the top right corner, we've got quick access to some handy settings, but we've also got the option to go manual by going in through the exposure setting and tapping on the auto adjust icon, which will bring us to manual control over ISO and shutter speed. And from there, if we tap on single photo, we can enable raw image capture. So although the image file sizes will be huge, you have a ton of photo editing image data to play with. Next, tapping on the hamburger menu lets us switch between photo or video modes, view the gallery, or purchase the Pro version, which will unlock some additional desirable features. And by tapping the settings cog within the hamburger menu, we get access to some additional basic settings for photo, video, and global app settings. Now, one thing to note though, from what I can tell, it won't record video in resolutions beyond 1080p, but we'll have a link to Footage in the description below. Next up is Camaringo. This is one of the coolest, most feature-packed camera apps I've ever seen. It provides over 300 filters for both photos and videos, as well as all the manual controls you'll ever need for, again, both photos and videos, which is pretty impressive. And while picking your filter, you can dial it in as much or as little as you like. It's pretty mind-blowing the amount of adjustments you can make even before tapping the shutter button. And once you've dialed in a look you like, you can hit the before and after button to see if maybe you've gone a bit too far, like I often do. Tapping the hamburger menu gives us a bunch of great modes, but we've got some out of the norm modes, such as GIF mode, a little planet style mode, and an incognito mode for the potential creepers out there. There's also a resolution selector option that gives pretty detailed information about each resolution. And then of course we have our global app settings, which if you dig through, has some pretty important and useful stuff in there. Certainly much more customizable than 99% of device stock camera apps on the market. But anyways, this particular app really caught my eye because of everything it offers. But side note, there's a light version which should satisfy most, but if you splurge for the Pro version, you get a ton more stuff. So we'll have a link for Camaringo in the description below. And finally, we arrive on Snap Camera HDR. Now, this is a really cool camera app, but I'll be honest, the trial version is so incredibly persistent with pop-ups reminding you that you're using a trial version that I almost didn't include it in the video. But because it's just so packed with awesome features and it's so easy to use, I had to give it a pass. That being said, I think the most notable thing that caught my eye was the DSLR-like dial on the bottom right. Tap that and we can select between the different modes right from the viewfinder screen. And there's a lot of them, many of which you'll find in the other apps I've already featured in this video, and some you'll normally find on expensive DSLR cameras. But HDR is in the name of this particular app, and so of course, we have some awesome HDR settings. Tapping the 3-dot menu button brings us into the global app settings, but you'll notice there's a tab just for HDR. And here we can totally customize how our HDR photos are taken with the contrast, exposure, saturation, and shot intervals. There's a ton of other awesome settings under the other tab, but just too many to go through in one video. So luckily you can download the trial version yourself to play with everything. Just make sure you've meditated or self-medicated before you do. Otherwise, that damn trial pop-up will drive you to the nut house. Now, for those of you out there that own flagship devices from the major OEMs out there, you'll find that none of these will be a direct replacement to your device's stock camera app. However, you'll find that at least one of these apps will offer at least one thing that you wish your stock camera app did have. But that should do it for this one. We'll have links to all of these apps in the description below for your downloading pleasure. If you have any camera apps you'd like to recommend, be sure to leave them in the comments below for everyone. And if you liked the video, show me and the XDA team that you did by hitting up that like button. And if you're new to the channel, make sure you subscribe for new videos every week. But thanks as always for watching, and I'll talk to you all in the next one. Cheers.